All right, Jason here from septictank.co.uk. Welcome to another live broadcast, and in today's broadcast I'm going to show you the top 3 septic tank problems in the UK. Well, they're probably the top 3 septic tank problems in the world, never mind just the UK. Right, so let's get on with the first one. What do you think the first biggest septic tank problem is around the world or in the UK? Well, let me show you. Number 1, it is smells. That's the number 1 septic tank problem in the UK today. It's probably been the biggest problem over the last 200-300 years. So let me show you why a septic tank smells. But even better than that, let me show you an amazing, simple solution that will get rid of all your septic tank smells or prevent your septic tank from smelling. So first of all, let me just tell you why a septic tank smells. So let me just delete this a second. Okay, rub that out. There we go. All right, so now believe it or not, right, a healthy septic tank never ever smells. There's a reason for a septic tank smelling. So here you've got your wastewater coming from your house here. So by wastewater, I mean all the wastewater that comes from your sink, your kitchen, your toilet, your shower, your bath, your washing machine, your dishwasher, all that comes down from there, right, and it goes into and it fills your septic tank up. Okay, and then when it reaches this height, it makes its way towards the soakaway. That's basically how a septic tank works. Now, in the wastewater, you've got all the debris from the toilet and the sink and stuff like that. And all this debris basically floats around in the septic tank. Okay? And they're called suspended solids because they float around like jellyfish, right? And then at the bottom, you get a buildup of fat, grease and sludge and other kind of things that builds up over time on the bottom of your septic tank. Now, that's how a normal septic tank works. That's how a healthy septic tank works. Now, you've got to imagine the septic tank is like a large stomach, right? This is the mouth, this is the stomach, and that's the bottom. So why am I using the analogy like this is a big stomach? Because in our stomachs are healthy bacteria, right? And in the septic tank, or the stomach of the septic tank, are healthy bacteria. Now, as long as those bacteria remain healthy and are alive and doing the job that they should be doing, the septic tank will never smell. So why does a septic tank smell? Well, let me show you. It's because of products like this, right? Bleach. Not this particular brand, right? It's got nothing to do with the brand. So I'm just stating that so I don't get sued. But it's just the sulfuric acid. You see, in every type of bleach or toilet cleaner, right, you've got like skull and crossbones on the back, and like danger, you know, danger if ingested or drunk. So the point is, if you and I were to drink bleach or toilet cleaner in a small or quite a lot of the quantity, you know, it could make us very ill, if not kill us, right? Because it damages and kills the good bacteria in our stomachs, right? And it's the same with the septic tank. If you put too much bleach down the loo or down the bath or in the shower or whatever, it ends up in here. And what happens is the bleach kills. So if I show you right in here, if I use these green dots as good bacteria, once you put the bleach in there, it kills the good bacteria. And then what? Because the bacteria have all been killed, right, they can't break down and digest the waste in the septic tank or the stomach anymore. So what happens very quickly then is that the stuff in the septic tank begins to rot, begins to fester, and then from there it begins to smell. So if your septic tank smells, it's because you're using too many cleaning products and it's killed the good bacteria in there. Now you're probably thinking, well, you know, I've got to use bleach, especially with the coronavirus around. I've got to use bleach and kill all these bugs that are killing people and could harm me or my family. And I'm not saying not to use cleaning products, but there's normal cleaning products for household use that aren't connected to septic tanks. And there's cleaning products that are designed to be used with septic tanks. Here's a particular brand, right? It's called Ecova. I haven't got any shares or any investments. I'm not affiliated to Ecova in any way, shape or form. But the point being is they're made from plant-based minerals, and they contain plant-based amino acids in. So what that means is, right, this particular one is a washing up liquid. You can get a toilet cleaner, you can get Ecova bleaches, stuff like that. It means that they're kinder and gentler to the germs and the bugs that live in the septic tank, the things, the good bacteria in the septic tank that's needed, right? That's needed to break down the bad bacteria. However, Ecova, because they're still cleaners, will still kill 99% of the germs and diseases that are brought into the house. So they're very, very, very good household cleaners. They will kill all your germs, but they won't kill the good bacteria in your septic tank. So there you go. That's number one. That's why septic tank smells, right? And that's why, and that is how to combat septic tank smells. Okay. So problem number two. What do you think the next biggest problem in the UK or the world is? Well, let me tell you. It's called blocked soakaway. That's the second biggest problem that septic tank owners face in the UK. So what's a blocked soakaway? What are the symptoms? And more importantly, how do you fix it? Well, let's go back to this original workings of the tank. So remember, you've got all your debris floating around in the septic tank, right? And there it is, it's building up on the bottom there, building up here, okay, over time. And so every year, or twice a year, or 3 times a year, you get your septic tank sucked out by a septic tank emptying foam. Why? Not because of the liquid. Most people lift the lid up of the septic tank and they see that it's 3/4 full and they're like, oh no, we're going to get a tank emptied, it's full up with water. It's always full up with water. No, the main reason you get your septic tank emptied or desludged is because of all the fat and the grease and the sludge. So the longer you don't empty your septic tank, the more and more this fat and the grease and the sludge builds up on the bottom and inside the septic tank. Okay, so it becomes very cloudy and all these bits float around. And what happens then is all these bits, I suppose they're like cholesterol, they're fat, grease and the sludge, and they also make their way out of the septic tank down here into the soakaway, and they block the arteries of the soakaway up. Now, the soakaway does exactly what it says. It allows all the wastewater that comes from your house that goes into the tank to soak away naturally into the soil. But the soakaway consists of loads and loads of pipes, like a herringbone. That's why they call it, some soakaways, a herringbone system, because it's got like, it's shaped like this. So if you were looking down, it's shaped in the shape of a herringbone. So that would lead into the herringbone, and all the water would leave there, come down into the herringbone system, and then would naturally just soak away from there into the soil. So this is like an aerial view I'm showing you here. But what happens, as I said, is all the fat and the grease and the sludge clog all these arteries up here, right? And basically the liquid can't soak away anymore, all right? And once they're all clogged and blocked up, the water then stops there. It can't leave the septic tank anymore, and then it backfills towards the house. So that's the second biggest problem people in the UK face with the septic tanks. Septic tanks, The soakaway of a septic tank typically has a lifespan something like 10-15 years, depending on how many bedrooms are on the property. So what is the best way to fix a block soakaway? Well, some people will get it rodded, but if you think about it, you get your rods out, you stick them down the pipes there, but the rods will just poke through the fat and the grease and the sludge. They don't do anything. Some septic tank emptying firms will offer the service of jetting, which is firing high-powered water down the pipes to try and clear them. Now, they charge 150, 250, 350 quid, and it's a living for them. But they won't tell you that it's no good, right? It may make you feel better that you had your tank sucked out and you're firing high-pressured water into it, but in reality, what it's doing, it's compacting all the fat and the grease and the sludge in the soakaway. It doesn't clean it out at all. It just makes the problem worse. It makes the septic tank emptying companies richer, and it makes you feel better. But in reality, the soakaway it still won't work. It won't be unblocked because it's got nowhere to unblock. You know, I mean, if there was a hole at the end of the pipes, then fine, you'd flush it out of the hole. But all the soakaway pipes are surrounded by soil, so that fat and the grease and the sludge and all that pressured water has got nowhere to go. And secondly, once you've fired all the high pressured water into the soakaway, it will then pour back into the tank here that's just been emptied, and you'll have to pay for them to suck more water out. People wonder where all this water is coming from. Well, it's coming back from the soakaway that couldn't soak away. So that is what a blocked soakaway is. All right, so a soakaway to replace will cost you anywhere from 3,500 to 6,500, 7,000 quid to repair. Now, the easiest and most effective solution, right, that I've ever seen is something called soakaway worms. Now, I've been in the septic tank business for about 20 years. I used to live in a place called Shropshire, and my dad and all the neighbours around him used to have septic tanks, obviously, but in the septic tanks were worms. Hundreds, if not thousands of these worms, something like out of a horror film. Anyway, I never really thought much any more about that when I left home. My dad mentioned it to me about, I don't know, 5 years ago. He said, remember all the worms that used to live in our tanks? And I said, yeah. He said, well, Jason, he said, people get all these septic tank and soakaway problems today. We never had any problems. Neither did any of the neighbours, because the worms ate all the fat and the grease and the sludge. And these worms, right, these worms would live in the septic tank. And they'd live in the pipes, and they would eat all the fat and the grease. And so I did quite a bit of research into this, right? And I found that in certain places in the UK, these worms naturally occur. And people are very fortunate because they never get soakaway problems, because the worms eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge. And so I started breeding these worms, started breeding them and selling them to people with soakaway problems, because it really, really bothered me and grieved me that people were having to spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 quid to get their soakaways fixed. And the result was incredible. People were emailing me, thanking me for saving them 3, 4, 5,000 quid. And so I started selling them ever since. So they're soakaway worms. The worm, you just get a bucket of the worms, you lift the lid up, you tip them straight into the tank, they get in there. It's a fallacy that worms drown. You can read a lot of misinformation on the internet. It's up to you whether you believe it or not, but I'm on the front line, I'm on the ground, and I see how good the worms are and what they do. They eat everything. They even eat us when we've gone and dead and gone. You know, they're the cleaners of the earth. And just tip a bucket of the soakaway worms in. They'll get in and they'll eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge. And within literally 3 or 4 weeks, they'll completely unclog and unblock your soakaway. Now you'll see certain companies, wormeries, selling worms that clear soakaways on the internet, on eBay and places like that. They're a load of rubbish. Why am I saying that? Because there's 150 species of worms in this country, right? They'll be selling garden worms or dendrobina worms, stuff like that. They do not unblock septic tanks. Yes, they're about 35 quid. You can buy them, you can shove them in, but they just won't work. There's only one worm out the whole 150 that actually eats the poo, fat and the grease. And you can get them from my website, septictank.co.uk. And the point is, yep, they're about 99 quid, they're 149 quid, but they're going to save you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 quid. Just coming back to that, it's a fallacy about worms drowning. You'll read a lot of misinformation on the internet about worms drowning or they can't swim. It's a load of rubbish. If you get a stagnant pond that hasn't got any water coming in, hasn't got any water going out, and it's got no oxygen in, all the life in that pond will die, right? With a septic tank, because you've got in and you've got an out, the fresh water coming in oxygenates the water in the tank, keeps the worms alive, whatever else is alive in there, because it's an aerobic process, right? Keeps everything alive, and that's what keeps the worms alive in the soakaway in the tank, etc. All right, so that was problem number 2. So what do you think the next biggest problem is? Well, this new problem is something that's recently just reared its head, and it's slapping septic tank owners across the face, right? All the rules and regulations in the UK changed on the 1st of January 2020. And so basically something has come in called the General Binding Rules. And basically it's targeting septic tank pollution. Before the 1st of January 2020, septic tanks just discharged straight into the soil or ditches or watercourses, and people think that it just applies to people whose septic tank goes into a river or something. It doesn't. It applies to every single septic tank that's 15 years old or older. So basically now, any septic tank, right? So although this water looks clean on here, in reality it's not. It's brown, it's got poo, it's got wee, it's got fat, it's got sludge, it's got all kind of horrible things in. And so that poo water, sewage water, right, goes into the soil and soaks away, whether that's through a soakaway or that will go to a watercourse or a ditch or a stream or a brook, something like that. Whether it's going, if your tank's older than 15 years old, right, and it's going into the soil, it's going into a watercourse, it's illegal, full stop. Now, you may not be bothered by that, you may not care, you may think, well, let them come and prove it. So what they're doing is this, they're sending around all the power has now been given to local council, local building control. And they're now sending building control officers to every single septic tank in the country. They'll come in and they'll ask you, they say, when was your septic tank installed? If you say, give them any date prior to 1995, they'll say, fine, okay, we're going to charge you 450 quid. We're going to come and do a site inspection, and they'll get an approved contractor to come and do a site inspection. They know the score already, but they'll say, oh, no, your tank's older than 1995. Oh, it's illegal now, mate. And then they'll give you a violation notice, violation order, and you'll have to put a new septic tank and soakaway in. That's it. No ifs, no buts. Okay? And so there's no way around these rules and regulations unless you make your septic tank legal. So you've got 3 options at this point, right? You've got 3 options. Option number 1, you can put a new septic tank and soakaway in. And that will cost you anywhere from like 8 to 12,000 quid. That's option number 1. Option number 2, you can put one of these new sewage treatment systems in that, you know, run on motors and electricity, and they've got cogs and bearings and pulleys and stuff in, and they're very, very good. That's option number 2. That will cost you anywhere from 12 to 15,000 quid. Or you could do this. And this is a really, really simple solution to make your septic tank legal, no matter how old it is. You put in, they're called an ecosystem. I'm going to run out of room here. Septic tank converter. Now, the Germans came up with an amazing solution. So people didn't have to spend 8 or 10 or 12 or 15,000 quid on replacing their old septic tank. So if you've got a septic tank, right, that's 25 years old, 50 years old, 100 years old, this is a really simple and easy and cheap way to make your septic tank legal and get rid of the septic tank inspectors. Because selling your house if you've got a septic tank is a nightmare now, because the solicitors are all onto it and they'll say, how old's your septic tank? All right, it was put in before 1995. Well, the people I'm representing want to bring your house price down by 10, 15 grand, and that's the workaround. I'm going to save you that money. Right, if you go on Google and just type in ecosystem septic tank converter, this is what it is. It's like a small black box, government approved. Government love these, right? It's a small black box like so. And they're designed for the DIY market. It means that you or your builder can put them in an hour, right? So what happens is all the poo and the wee still goes straight into your septic tank, and then, right? Oh, just done that wrong. If I show you this. Oh no, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. And so then what happens is this. It's like a shelf there. So all the poo water will go in, and all the sewage water goes into this little black box. They're non-electric, by the way, no electricity or whatever them. They work via bacteria and enzymes. And there's a special shelf and layer inside it. It's a bit thicker than this, but this shows you the principle of how it works. And it converts, it's called a septic tank converter because it converts all the sewage into clean mineral water. And that mineral water then can go straight into the soil. It can carry on going straight into a river, a watercourse, a ditch, a stream. And many people buy these, put them in the fisheries. That's how clean it is. But if you're looking for a very simple and cheap and effective way to get around all the new rules and regulations without having to spend 10, 12, 15,000 quid out, then just go on to Google and type in ecosystem septic tank converter. As I said, they're a small black box, a bit bigger than that. They're about 3 foot by 3 foot, something like that. But most builders and stuff, you just get someone, if you got someone who's got a digger or something like that, they'll get that in for you, no problem. And because there's no electricity, you just slot the pipe from your tank into there and from the converter straight to your soakaway or into the soil. Job done. So there you go. I hope that's helped you. So we've looked today at 3 septic tank problems. We've seen smells, which is caused by cleaning products. Just go and buy yourself Ecova, something like that. We've seen that you've blocked soakaway is because of all the fat and the grease and the sludge. Block up the soakaway. Just go onto Google and type in soakaway worms. Don't use those rubbishy ones on eBay and other places. They're just selling you garden worms and they won't work, and you'll waste 50 quid, right? And the third one is you've got 3 options because all the new rules and regulations have changed. If your tank was put in prior to 1995, option 1, you can put a new septic tank and soakaway in if you've got the space or you've got the money, which is like, what, 8 to 12 grand. You can put a fan-dangled sewage treatment plant in, which will cost you 10 to 15,000 quid. You can lower the price of your house, or you can put one of these ecosystem septic tank converters in, which will save you 10, 12, 13,000 quid, and it'll make your tank legal within 1 hour. They actually give you a go with these ecosystem septic tank converters. You get a government certificate, right, which you just hand to the building control officer or the solicitor representing the people buying your house, and everyone's happy. So listen, I hope that's helped. If you want any more free advice and help, just type in Septic Tank TV on the internet, Septic Tank TV, or you can just go to, let's see if I can get this right here, or just go to, it's very hard, or go to, there we go, septictank.co.uk. It's like really weird because I got a monitor there and got the little you know, septictank.co.uk logo at the bottom there, but everything's back to front. But listen, thank you very much for watching. You take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Here's a revolutionary new way to dispose of your dog's poop. It's something you've always wanted but didn't know existed. It's called the Dog Poop Septic Tank, and it dissolves dog poop. It comes in two sizes, large and extra large, which is ideal for kennels, for dog clubs, for dog walkers, for rescue centres and much, much more. So, how does it work? Just remove the lid and put the dog poop into it. Now, as soon as the dog poop lands on the special shelf, organic worms and bacteria start to eat and digest all the solid dog poop. In turn, the worms poop out clean, organic, liquid fertilizer that drains out and soaks away into your soil. The dog poop septic tank just takes a few minutes to set up. Simply just place the tank onto the ground, dig a very small hole for the soakaway pipe and fill the hole with gravel or soil. You can even put your dog poop septic tank on bricks and just put the soakaway pipe into a bucket or other container. The extra large dog poop septic tank is ideal for boarding kennels, dog walking parks, rescue centres, playgrounds. It's even designed to go in your own garden. So how does the amazing dog poop septic tank work? Well, just put your dog's poop into the dog poop septic tank and then let nature do the rest. Organic red worms, bacteria and enzymes eat, digest and break down the dog poop like compost. The dog poop is then dissolved and converted into safe, clean organic mineral water that just soaks away into the grass or the soil. The dog poop septic tank means no more mess, no more bins and no more smells. So, if you'd like some more information about this amazing dog poop septic tank, or you'd like to cleanly, organically, naturally and safely dispose of your dog's poop, then for more information, just click the link below this video or visit septictank.co.uk for free help and advice.